Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Namaste, welcome to Satsang. Jai Shankar, Jai Shankar. Thank you so much for being here today. So all of you have been here for a very long time. Some are newcomers. You've been here at least a couple of sessions, couple of satsangs. So you know what we are here for. What do you think you're here for?
Emancipation. Enlightenment.
Thank you, Lord. Because I have to find out first, right? So emancipation, enlightenment, what is it, right? So we're going to delve a little bit deeper today. Last satsang we spoke about conscious living, right? Conscious living. What is it to live consciously? We'll talk a little bit about that. What is ordinary conscious living? And you want to go deeper. I didn't really want to announce it in the beginning, but then what is super conscious? Because then you won't listen to the conscious level and you'll be thinking, oh, what's she going to say in the super conscious? So don't go there yet. We'll see how you progress. If you can even handle the conscious first. So conscious living is what? So first of all, emancipation is what? You need a little bit of prerequisites for emancipation, and we've always spoken about it. I'll just repeat very briefly. The very first prerequisite is humility, 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 humility. So why humility? Why not something else, Because unless you come and kneel in front of the Supreme, giving up everything, your identification of your own self, your form. Because when you give up your first thing, what I asked you last time, nobody could say it, self-identification. You said enchiladas, you said this, that, it's all there later. But the very first thing you do is you have to simply drop your self-ID. Here in America and everywhere, you have to show your ID first, right? But you keep it in your purse. Use it when you need to, but your inner, you have to drop that inner name and form. And as soon as you drop your name and form, what happens is everything else in your life dissolves instantaneously. If you really do it radically truthful way, everything simply dissolves. Because of the name and form, you say, oh, I'm the father, I'm the daughter, I'm the son, I'm the wife, I'm the husband. And so therefore the positionalities of their duties come into light, right? Suppose you drop the name and the form also. Name so-and-so. Sherwin has to do this one. Sharada Ma has to do. She's a guru principal, so she'll sit and go blah, blah, blah. Suppose you drop all of that, all of the positionalities, everything's dropped. Even before everything is dropped, when you drop your identification of name and form, everything actually crashes. And then what remains? Anybody? What remains? Consciousness alone. Consciousness alone, that which created you, that which encompasses the entire universe, the entire creation, that alone remains. And when that alone remains, you're simply sparkling. And out of that sparkling silence comes the emancipation. But if you cannot give up your name and form and you're sitting there trying to fudge around, lifetimes after lifetimes, because of course, we were ignorant at that time. We did not know the true knowledge. The true knowledge is in the Vedantic truths, the Bible, all of the scriptures from all around the world. So all around the world, every scripture says the same thing. Truth is only one. Okay, so to come to the truth, everything has to be given up. I had a private with one of the new, he's been there with us for a while, but he had his first private. And I was questioning him. He said, okay, basically I get it, Ma. Pretty much I have to give up everything. And he said, I know it, I have to give up, and I'm working towards it. How beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? That's all you have to do. And I'm not saying give up your job, go sit in Arunachala mountain, go sit in a forest and do your tapasya. I'm saying be doing everything, but there's an inner renunciation. Lovingly unattached. You're renouncing internally only. You still go to your work, you're doing the dance of the Jagat or the world, but internally you have no agendas. You have no agendas, no ulterior motives. Do I have an ulterior motive sitting here? No. If I did, I wouldn't be the true Guru principle. Because all of the great sages have given up everything to teach us, to bring us to that enlightened space in which they are. So let us do our little part, And so why we have to do a little part is for your own well-being, for your own enlightened. Because once you have come to that enlightened space, you are free. What is emancipation and enlightenment? Is freedom. Freedom from what? From all of these positionalities. Freedom from the ego mind. Freedom from the ego mind, because all of you are sabotaged and hijacked by the ego mind at every facet of your life, every aspect of your life. Oh, Ma, I'm great when I'm sitting with you. I go home and then my wife said something and I kind of yelled at her. What is the point? So what I'm saying is very lightly, I always say in the satsang, every aspect of your life, be alert. It's not being said very lightly. You have to pay attention. So coming to the conscious living, we are all very aware, we're all intelligent beings, advanced path. Some of you have been in the path with many masters for so long, and then you come here. So we are aware, right? And on a conscious level, we are aware of everything that's happening, because you come and tell me, oh, I was just doing great, and all of a sudden I sat in meditation, I was doing fantastic, and then I came out, and then I had this bad phone call from my work, and I just lost it now, So what I'm saying is, and you're not consciously living, and you're not consciously seeing that, the ego mind is sabotaging you again, and you're allowing it, because they have no clue. They're fully in the anger and frustration and everything, but they're not realizing. But back on the, I know all the, knowledge that you've taught me, I know, but I'm not able to control. So consciously. So the ordinary consciousness is when you're aware of everything, and you're aware of everything. Everybody is aware at almost most of the times. Sometimes you're sabotaged by the ego mind. But when you come to the space of having this intelligence and awareness, which is a given gift, because that's your true nature, that's for ordinary things, right? For everyday things, you are able to be, oh, my dog is hungry and I have to feed it, and all these things. But what is super consciousness? What is super consciously living? Is when you have a base that you have complete Shraddha and Bhakti, complete faith and complete devotion in knowing who you are, and knowing that the baseline is there is a supreme reality within you, which is orchestrating, facilitating, sustaining, giving you the unconditional love to sustain you and bring you to that emancipated state. How many of you are always aware of this constant? The only constant is change is the Jagat or the world, right? Everything's changing in the world. But what is the one constant that sustains you, that loves you, that does not judge you? That's God within you, that we call existence, God. Whatever you want to call it, by name or form, or it doesn't matter. So when you're connected to that immensity within you, I'm not talking about the church or temple. Yes, church is inspiring, temple is inspiring, the bells ring, it's beautiful. Everything is beautiful. When you come home, who are you after that? Who are you? Are you able to focus and look within yourself to see, this is my eternal. This is, I am the eternal. I am the ancient one. Because why they say you're eternal? Because the body is time bound. It may go tomorrow. But your infinite is eternal and ancient. And why we don't know that? We are sitting here in Satsang because we have forgotten. So we have to recognize that immense knowledge of the Supreme Parabrahman, or the Supreme Reality that we call God, that is only within us at all times, not outside. So initially, like kindergarten, we go outside and we'll, go to church, we'll go to temple, ring the bells, do the puja. All of that was done by this one. But sometimes you have to come to that supreme silence without listening to the mind ego, but listening to a far deeper voice that we call the soul. It's a deeper, it's always there. Everybody, all of you are so radiant already. You're so beautiful already. I can see it, why can't you? At least just believe. So initially, to go to the conscious living, we have to just believe in the Shastras or the scriptures or a Guru principle who's been there, done that, it's guiding you. That also comes by grace, because when your heart is in earnestness, yearning, so something larger than life, something more beautiful, who is that within me, whose innate nature is freedom, whose innate nature is freedom. And you want to find out, no? Even when we are little girls, we want to find out, or boys. Oh, there's something lacking, or you have achieved $1 million, you're made, you got a great job, you've had a family, everything. But there's something bothering you, saying like, there's something I'm not very happy, right? So what is that? That is the supreme reality. So when you come to that super conscious level, this is what I'm saying. Now, you all have to live in that super conscious level. Don't tell me I'm living conscious level. That's not enough for me, not good enough. That ordinary people do, no? You're extraordinary. So super conscious. That's all it is. Vivekananda, he explains super conscious level is this only. Knowing that there is an Ishvara, God, existence, we call, that is within us as a palpable presence every moment. Every moment is a palpable presence. Your friend may just ditch you. Somebody else may be flaky in your life. The one constant is God within you, who's always there, I am. And suppose, many of you come and tell me this is in reference or giving back to the questions that was asked in the privates. Because sometimes some of you are totally lost. Even if you were in the sadhana, which is practice, spiritual practice for many, 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 many years, you still have this big question. Who is this I'm searching? The other day somebody said like, yeah, I don't know who that is. Okay, I know I've surrendered, but surrendered to what? I said, excuse me. So first get it straight that surrendering to what is that immensity within you. Immensity within you. You are as larger than life. And then you're putting yourself in this little prison called the positionalities, the name and the form. Little prison. And which you cannot even move. You've created that prison for yourself. Nobody else has created it. You blame the mother, I was abused when I was a child. I'm saying that's the past. Get over it. It's a very traumatic experience. I understand all of that. But how long are we going to waste time about what happened 60 years back, 80 years back, 70 years back, even 30 years back? Why bother about it? It's water under the bridge. Let it flow. So everything that's past is water under the bridge. Everything in the future that we plan may not even happen. So what is the only reality? The only reality is the freedom of the now and now alone. Because if you take care of your now, this moment, the future will simply flow out of that moment because you paid attention to that moment. Right now, my daughter needs a hug from me. You paid attention in that moment and gave her a hug. Sweetheart, come here, Like I told you one time, the mother was working very hard. She was a single mom. She was at home working away, trying to do her laundry, and she had a 2-year-old little daughter. She's saying, Mommy, I want you, So she said, sweetheart, I'm trying to juggle like 50 things, doing the laundry, I'm working on, online. And then she stopped and said, wait a minute, what am I doing? I have to pay attention to this child. Because as a parent, you're giving whatever you are is the child becomes. You can't tell the child, oh, sit here properly. You're a girl, so don't play football. You're a boy, so don't play with dogs. You can't say that. You only teach by your beingness how you're interacting with other people. They're always watching, So the same thing with the world also. As you're behaving, the world will simply take from you. If you're consciously living all the time, the world will absolutely see you as the glory. So simply living consciously itself, people will just say, wow, So that moment is important. So she says, I'm going to turn off everything, turn off the computer. As he said, sweetheart, come. This little girl, 2 years. She comes running, jumps into the mother's lap. Mother just hugs her. She says, I love you, and for you only I'm doing all of this. So let's come sit and play. Then she gives 2 kisses to her mom. She says, Mommy, I love you. And then she jumps off and she runs, goes plays with the dolls. Mom said, wait a minute, I took all this time off, turned off my computer, and you ran away. She says, Mom, I just wanted you to hug me. Took 2 seconds. So can you be so conscious of the needs of others? I'm not saying do dharma. Your first dharma is enlightenment. The highest endeavor is enlightenment alone. No excuses, okay? But you do your so that's why meditations, silence. Just like when you go and see the movie, without the screen, you can't see the movie. So when you're watching the movie, you know that there's a screen behind the movie, and so therefore you can watch the movie. Same thing is super conscious living. You know there is a God, the creator, that is Ishvara, that exists within you, and all of the Leela or the play is happening on top of that screen. So you are the screen, you are the Leela, you are everything. So once you recognize, that screen will tell you this immensity is within me. So that's the base, and that's huge. I'm not doing this for fun. I'm doing this so that if this one can come to that seeing, so can you all. There's no excuses, folks. Don't waste your time. The conscious living is that knowing the screen is there, knowing that your sustenance comes from that alone, and simply going and doing your stuff, right, which has to be done, lovingly unattached. Suppose you have a job and it's very painful and whatever, lovingly unattached. And if that job, no matter how good it is, fantastic, it draws a lot of money, if it's not serving you, please quit. Ouch. Because that's the truth. Can you live in radical truth? You're dying, but then you don't want to give up the job. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Because the body is also the temple, no? You're the temple. So to recognize God within the temple, you have to take care of it to a certain extent. That also lovingly unattached. So far, any questions? Please ask questions now. Any questions, any challenges that you're facing or that you may be facing when you get home and think about all of this? Yes, Pamela, hi.
You speak about meditation and coming into stillness and meditation, but as we evolve and as we become less attached, isn't really our whole life a meditation, a walking meditation? Our actions, our things that we're doing, they're all coming from that space.
Yes.
So is it truly the need to sit in silence or just to be with yourself in that way all the time?
Thank you. Very good question. You have to sit in silence. When you're having an open eye meditation, you're walking through the park and absorbing the Ashtamurtis, which is nature, the beautiful trees, the plants, the flowers, the birds, the rivers, the lakes. It's all beautiful. You're absorbing, but you're multitasking. You're being, and your being is absorbing all of that. But when you sit at home or even in the park and you're going to complete stillness within you, dropping the entire world, is then you can come and meet the Creator, meet your own immensity, because only in that pure stillness can you see God, not otherwise. So other times, so that's super conscious living, what you're saying, right? Every time being aware that I am, that's super conscious living. That's excellent. So when you come to that state and then you're sitting yourself for 3 times a day or something, simply seeing, at that time alone, my humbly speaking, my experience has been, I've gone to delve deeper and deeper and deeper in my meditations. And you cannot even get up after 1 hour. It's just like 10 minutes, So you sit for 2-3 hours. That's what I used to do. Sometimes 6 to 8 hours a day. I'm not saying that is necessary, because you have and I had my teacher, my Swamiji, guide me, but I started when I was a very little girl. Then I came away to America, came to Canada and then America. So I was not in touch with him like you guys are, seeing 2 times a month, And even that people take time off. It's okay. But keep coming for every satsang. It's so important. If you think that this is what your path is, you want to be in more peace, even if you're not come to full enlightenment, which I would like all of you to be, but at least you'll come to much higher levels of consciousness and seeing how to live consciously, super consciously, and come to that state of lovingly unattached with everything. But you enjoy the strawberry shortcake. But if it's not there, you're not saying, oh my God, I need my chocolate, I need my strawberry. That is what I'm talking about, the difference. You enjoy everything in life in moderation. Have, like they say, dark chocolate is very good, ma, and somebody gave me a gift. Have a small, tiny piece. And see if your, ego is coming back to say, oh, you can have a whole thing. It says only like, 5 grams of sugar or something. Are you going to listen to that thing? Or, somebody told me like, oh, I don't know if it's like the ego mind or it's my heart. I don't know the difference. Like, whom do I listen to, So this is the abhyasa. As you're going, if you was asking about the question of stillness, when you go into stillness, then there is an instantaneous support. Okay, how many of you have been completely going through the Samvit fire? You're still here, still radiating with that glory of truth, So proud of you. So proud. I know that you all have done it. You've been here. And you're continuing to come and sit here. Why? Because you're receiving something immense. And also in the transmissions, a lot happens in the transmissions. We'll be doing in a little bit. So any other questions? Yes. Give her the Shenapurna the mic.
Thank you. So I can be going along, doing really, really well. And then there's a trigger, and it doesn't matter what that trigger seems to be, but I can really lose it. And even when I've really lost it, I'm completely aware that I've lost it. But the anger and whatever goes on until I'm finally able to, work through the whole thing. Why? I mean, is it a sign of, working through things, or is it just not doing enough, or both?
Both. So every person comes with the prarabdha karmas. That means past life karmas, what we have done in ignorance, okay? And causality, effect and causality. That has to be, you cannot let go. You cannot surpass that. So as you sow, thou shalt reap. What goes around comes around. So in ignorance, we've done something, and we don't know. And thank God, God did not allow us to remember all the lifetimes. Otherwise, imagine, we'll all be in the loony bin, So as long as you've been given the, supreme knowledge, and you're telling me that you're very aware that you get triggered, but there's also an awareness within you saying, I'm triggered. So you have to look at that and say, if there is an awareness which is telling me that I'm triggered, that is the super consciousness, that is the God with me saying, hey, you're getting triggered. Like you really want to be triggered, this is the choice. So the prarabdha means the orchestration keeps going on, but at every moment you have a beautiful choice. Do I choose to get angry or get hooked by this? Or do I choose to just stay and simply witness what's going on without judgment? So a couple of times when that is the super conscious living, you're saying, okay, you're just sitting and saying, okay, why am I getting triggered? Like really radically truthful, go and see. And then the next time catch it to nip it in the bud. Because otherwise the mind will say, the mind will take you into a loop, like, the recording thing. Looping are the same thing. I listen to people, that's why I am telling you. Same thing over and over again. Ma, this happened. Again, a can of worms. Again, ma, this happened. I'm saying, haven't you learned anything, No judgment, I'm very kind. See, they all know whom they know that I'm talking about them. They're laughing. That's very wonderful. Thank you. See, one thing you understand, there's no judgment whatsoever here. You have to make some jokes, or just be too dull. Well, enlightenment, om, and sit there, You have to make it fun. So always pay attention. Okay, Ma said this and said this and said this 50 times. Okay, now the 51st time or 103rd time, I'm still doing it. Like, what's wrong with me, So you have to see what happens is you become your own policeman and you have to police your actions. Otherwise, Ma is not going to be there 24/7 when you're goofballs. I'm not there. I can check you at the thing. So going back to you, I want to talk a little bit about the karmas. Because, it's very important. If once you understand how the karmas are created, you can stop it in this lifetime. So did I answer your question? So when the trigger points come, you tell me very clearly, I'm triggered, I'm angry, I'm actually pissed. This is what somebody told me. So how do you come to that place? You're this beautiful, radiant little girl, and you get so angry. Where's the anger coming from? So it's like doubt, anger is like a poisonous gas. It'll just keep on coming. And that's from the mind ego. Always the realm of the mind ego, you're going to have sorrow, you're going to have conflicts, you're going to have everything, which I even have forgotten the negative words, anger and jealousy, whatever. But in the realm of the heart, always have connectivity, compassion, kindness, serenity, harmony, unconditional love. Okay, you're not come to unconditional. Now, I can't come to unconditional love. Why? I'm saying jump in the pool of consciousness now. What are you waiting there for? Conditioned love? You've been doing that all this time. Conditioned love. You made me a cup of coffee. I made you, like 3 times last week. And this time you made me only once, telling the husband. So somebody told me, she's not here today, but she told me, Ma, I don't even keep track of things I do for my spouse. Beautiful, no? That's unconditional love. You're not keeping track. You're simply being there for him or her. That's it. That's as you sow, thou shalt reap. And sometime when the other person is gone or you're in your old age, somebody else, a son will come and help you. So that's the thing. Going to karmas. There is 2 karmas. One is prarabdha karma, which past life karmas, prarabdha karma. You don't have to remember the names, but past life karmas. So past life, we don't know what we have done. It has happened and we are reaping it in this lifetime. So the answer is like whatever happens, you just say, okay, if suppose something disastrous happens in your life, you say, okay, one more karma burnt, and you're going through that, and you're aware of the super knowledge, and you're saying, okay, there's another karma coming at me. I'm just going through the samvid fire, which means the divine fire, which is cleansing you and helping you, sustaining you. While you're going through that, you're being sustained also, and you're being loved also. And then you come out of it somehow. You have to go through that because a lot of times, you have, problems with the siblings, you have problems with these people, that whatever. Sanchita karma is that which you create now and you have to reap it later. So what my master told me was, you are all balls of light. Everybody is radiant lights. And one time this person was really nasty to you. So that nastiness, that resentment, that anger, he did this to me, she did this to me, whatever is held in your heart or whatever part of your body, that's like a black ball of, black, it's black. So that kind of, it's like a wound is festering inside your body, inside your beingness, that becomes huge and becomes the prarabdha karma. So in this lifetime, since you have the divine knowledge, and you have the knowledge of the levels of supreme consciousness and also the rules of consciousness, you will understand and say, wait a minute, if this is a botheration, please be radically truthful, guys. Because don't say, oh, I don't have any more resentment with this person, because I'm so good, I'm spiritual, and I've come home. BS, go check in him. You'll have that, something, you're looking at the person and say, oh, just by the look I can understand. You still have something a little tight with that person, no? So go inside and release that, so that you're bringing the light into that energy of negativity and darkness, and you're simply releasing. Especially the children who've done you harm, who do not have any sense of gratitude. You've done everything for them all your life, no sense of gratitude at all. And it's very sad, but you know what, you got to let it go. Let it go. Say, in some time, God gave me the sustenance to bring them up so nicely. I gave them everything I had. Now you don't have anything, and they cannot even give you anything. They can't even say, Mom, let me help you. That's a really sad thing. Or Dad, maybe let me help you. So you have to release that negativity out of your being. Since you have the knowledge right now, we'll do it during the transmission. Everything is released during the transmission. So when you go home, you're just like light, radiant light. So with that support, you can simply come home. You can just really, this moment you can just be realized. What are you waiting for? Any questions, any challenges? What are you waiting for? It doesn't have to be like, because you're in a field of consciousness that is beyond your comprehension. See what the self says. I'm not saying it. It's beyond your comprehension, the field of consciousness and the sacred space that you're sitting in right now is beyond your comprehension. So simply drink from that fountain. Just drink and consume everything that's being said and take it home as a precious thing that God has given you out of His grace. Out of His grace only, I'm sitting here. Nothing that I'm doing. There's no I anyway. Personality has dropped. There's no I. There's nobody, right? There's no name, form, nothing. So when all of that is dropped, that which flows within you is only the existence, the flow of existence that is coming and, completely presenting your life. Things happen in my life. Oh, wow. Shambhu, that's plenty. That's enough. It's okay. Take some more, It's like that. Why? Because you're not attached to any of that. Take some more, You're not attached. You're here for a larger, may I see that person also happy. No? That's a larger goal, no? They're not being selfish only about yourself. But in the beginning, you have to say, you and you alone are important. Till you come to that emancipated state, you and you alone are important. Once you come to that state, you're radically truthful, then you have courage. Like, my Swami used to say, are you a warrior angel, Sharada? He'll say, I'll keep a stick also with him. And he'll knock your head off in the stick. And we're all sitting, yes, Swami, yes, I'm a warrior angel. Here, I have a lot of compassion, patience. I won't say, get out of my satsang. He'll say, hey, what, you're not paying attention? That's it. Exit. You understand? So every time when I say conscious living, why I'm insisting conscious living, which I've not talked about this, it just shows that this one, I'm not saying anything. I'm not conducting the satsang. There's something larger than life, larger than this one conducting the satsang. So why I'm saying conscious living, super conscious living, is because to catch the darkness within your being, to catch that so that you can be just light. And once you're light, then you're supported, like what she was saying, anywhere you go. I don't have to sit and meditate anymore. I am in meditation completely. I still sit. Something makes me sit, I sit. If I sit for 2 seconds, I can feel the palpable presence of God, which I call Shambhu, Arunachala. It's only a form, but you think Arunachala is not in my heart? Definitely, most definitely. So when you feel God's presence in your heart, always so beautiful, loving, He doesn't have any judgment, because he's telling, didn't I create you in my image? I created you in my image. Now what are you complaining about? You're complaining like an ordinary fool with a puny name and personality. So puny, in a little box at prison, Oh, just, like I just can't do that. I get triggered and all the stories. So what? Rise above it, no? Even if you get triggered, it's okay. See, not being judgmental on yourself. Compassion, kindness. So when I say, be compassionate, kindness, that all starts with you. First, you have to be compassion, kindness, saying it's okay, okay, I fell on my face again, it's fine. The first time when I started doing satsangs, I was such a timid person. I never spoke in public or anything. So shy, First time I said, okay, Shambho. There, oh gosh. One of my students, he's not here now, he's gone to India. He's very precious to me. And, one day I was just saying, well, ordinary housewife like this could come to this emancipated state. Why can't you? And he said, yeah, Ma, we know you're such a simpleton. You're so simple, Ma. Yeah, we all know. He was so sarky, I said, boy, you're becoming sarcastic to your Ma today. So, but what I'm saying is that is the true reality. I'm just speaking from my heart, And how did the speaking come without no preparation? I got this one little tiny book of Swamiji's. That also was not prepared. He said, open the book. I opened. Open that page. I didn't even know what page I opened. I'll be reading it, which is condensation of what we're speaking right now. So everything is a flow. Why it's a flow? Why it can be a flow in your life also? Total surrender. Totally. Not 99.9%. So how to come to that surrender of 100% is silence. When you meditate and when you're just within the brilliance of your own self, without judgment. Oh, I did this when I was a young boy. I was a nasty person. I was this, I was that. I said, water under the bridge. So simply in the now is the beauty. We talked about the satsang, they talked about the beauty of the self. I'm going to go within myself and see that eternal ancient one. Let me search for that eternal ancient one within here. Not outside in the church, not outside anywhere else, within here. And I promise you, once you find that, you can go anywhere in the world, you can do anything, I don't really care. Because you will be the lamppost of that place, right? If you go from here, I'm going to do something. Don't go anywhere before you're emancipated. And you go to China or you go somewhere else. I want to get a partner. Wait. If you're young and you want, to have a partner and you want all that, it's just desires, So we didn't go to so if you have desires, you have expectations. If you have expectations, it's bound to not be met. And then what happens? Disappointments. The mind is always telling you, you need to make more money. You're young and beautiful. Where's your boyfriend? You have to simply drop the belief systems of the world. All that's been said is the belief systems of the world. Do they ever talk about enlightenment? No, not as a belief system. If you go and choose to be in front of a guru principle, then you're fully told everything, because you are choosing. I've told this many times in the satsang. If you come here and sit and say, Ma, I want enlightenment, I'll really put you to the ringer. Very nicely, compassionately. But you can always be rest assured that 1000% this one is there for you. If you're falling, I'll hold you. It doesn't matter where you are, as long as you get connected here in the satsang. Wherever you are, you'll be held. Can a personality do that? No. The immensity within the personality only can come to that grandeur and that courage and say, don't worry, I have you back. How can I say that? So can you come to that seeing? So when that demand, all of the expectations, the desires, everything is dropped only, you can come to that state where you can say with confidence, person who has never spoken, given a speech anywhere. Ayo Rama. I'm having fun. You start having fun. See, what I'm saying is we're sleeping. Most of our lives we are sleeping, right? Oh, I need to sleep more. I need my 8 hours of sleep. So what? Somebody was saying in the middle of the night, she got up. Yeah, I don't think she's watching the Zoom, but anyway, one of the Zoomers. I got up, I didn't sleep till 1 o'clock, ma. So did I. Literally. You sit and meditate. If you can't sleep in the night, you sit and meditate. Thank you, Lord, for giving me this. I'm so grateful for giving me this chance to sit and, question myself and my ambitions and my expectations and my desires and say, which one can I drop? I'm saying everything, the whole enchilada, because it's such a burden for you guys to carry. I'm saying drop everything, do your stuff like normally, whatever. Inner renunciation. Nobody needs to know. When Swamiji, I told Swamiji one time, I called before, we used to write inlands, right, in India. It'll take 1 month for me to get an answer from Swamiji because he will write immediately, but then I have to write to him. Then he will reply, whatever. It used to take. Now we have cell phones, we have phone calls. It's easy to contact Maharaj. But he told me, don't talk to anybody about your wanting, because I said, I want something is burning in my stomach. I don't know what it is. I want to know who I am. I want to know God. I used to say like moksha, but I didn't even know the meaning of moksha. What is moksha? Everybody says moksha, but what is moksha? So the freedom, I just wanted that freedom, And he told me, what? Keep it as a secret. Keep it as a secret. So inner renunciation also is a secret. Inner giving up of everything is also a secret. Keep it inner renunciation. And be silent about it. And several of you were, having all the silk shawls and saying, I'm just emancipated. I'm so spiritual. Don't say that. Be it. Do it, be it. Every moment, every action has to be only that, but you be in that state of humility. Can you be that? It's easy for anybody to be pompous. Is it easy for you to be humble? Why humility? Why should we be humble, ma? Because that is the passport to emancipation. That is the passport. Silence. Humility. In the realm of gratitude, can you ever complain about anybody? Realm of gratitude. So if you feel grateful, even for a morsel that God has given you, even for a morsel, but how much more we have, how much more God has given us now, right now. Whatever you have, that's a lot. No? Millions of people around the world have nothing. They eat out of the garbage cans every day. We have so much. So can't we offer ourselves to God for Him to pick us up and make use of our instrument? That's all I've always spoken to God. Just make use of this however you want. Even today, that's my only prayer. If you flow through this one, then I also flow. Otherwise, I'll sit. So that's all needs to be done. And once you are in that state of super conscious living, and you are that immensity, then only you can see your immensity. Don't hang on to, that your insecurities. I need to be acknowledged. I want. What is the point? Because your whole life will go with that. The wants and everything. I'm saying when you come to the state of just being, when we go into the meditation, I say, just be. I don't want you to be this or that. I'm just asking you to be. So when you're beingness, you're taking a vacation from your mind ego. You're taking a vacation from all that you're brought into this life for just 1 hour, and you see what happens. You're filled with joy. Chidananda Rupam Shivoham Shivoham. Ananda Rupam. You are the embodiment of pure joy, love, and consciousness. You know? So if you want to be in that state all the time, do your meditations 3 times a day. If you can't have 3 hours, 3 times a day, at least do for a few minutes. At least make the morning meditation at least an hour, so it starts your day off. And if you're working, take 15 to 20 minutes, because it takes the adult body 20 minutes to relax. Every cell of your body is being revitalized and relaxed. For adults, it takes 20 minutes. Children, it takes 10 minutes. See, these are all simple tools that you can utilize for emancipation. Not just to keep your body healthy and all that, it's beyond health. You go beyond that health, keeping this and that beyond, you go beyond that. So anytime when you're attached to something, you cannot drop it. Like you're attached, mostly it's like with children, right? You're attached to kids and something happens to them, you're saying, oh, Ma, I just cannot, I get triggered by my children because I love them so much. Of course you love them. But here's the news flash. Children are coming through you for a reason of their own, whatever they're supposed to do in this life. You cannot be attached to them and not allow them to go through their karmas, good, bad, or ugly. And you're just stuck with it. And some people say, well, I want to have children. I'm saying, oh, bless your heart. You don't want I don't think you want that. Because every time I hear from people, my child, my son, my daughter did this, trauma drama, So always be careful of what you desire. Ask and thou shalt receive. Jesus said, okay, receive. Okay, take. You want, get a spouse, you could take. Then you say, oh my God, why did I, this guy is not my type, too late, So just always watch for what you ask. That's why I say wait to be emancipated and then go for your partner, because you're radiating at a certain LOC. LOC means levels of consciousness, and that partner will also radiate towards you. And then it'll just be a beautiful togetherness. Until then, don't bother. What is togetherness anyway? I need you. You need me. We just love each other. Beyond that, there is God, which is impeccable love, unconditional love. Even if you have a partner, you say you got married. This my Swami used to say, get married, and then it's the first night and everything. You're just love you, love you. And after that, you go to sleep. In sleep, are you together? No. In sleep, sushupti, deep sleep. That guy is snoring. Oh, I never knew he snored. India arranged marriages. You only know in the first. Oh, he snores. He's a handsome guy. I said yes. And then you see the first night he's snoring. Say, oh God, why did you give me a snorer? So it's like that. So why would you want to go and get into that and then live like 45, 55, 65 years? See how many warnings are coming from self. Get emancipated first. And in that emancipation state, you will be guided very beautifully. Don't go there. Don't fall in this pit. Shambho is so funny today. Yes, give it to Lisa.
I have a question about karma. You talked about past life karmas and then current conditional karmas that we create ourselves. What about the karmas of others that we have experienced and then have moved on that are not physically here? Where did that karma relationships fit?
Why do you want to know? Don't you have enough problems on your hand? No, I'm saying it, you don't question like what fits and what doesn't fit, and you can't understand the universal law. I mean, it's a very deep thing, and I'll need 3 hours to explain that. But what I'm saying is, as long as you're lovingly unattached, and somebody just exited the world, and it was time for the transitioning, and they're gone. End of story. Just say beautiful prayers, send them off with love, and you gave them all the love when they were here. That's all.
So when they pass on, their karmas pass with them?
With them, absolutely.
Okay.
And you had a cumulative karma with that person, so you had to go through a certain dance while they were on earth. That's it. Once they're gone, it is their karma, and when they come rebirth, whenever it's God's thing, is like they probably reborn depending on how they conducted their life this lifetime, they'll come back. But it's not your attachment at all. Once the person exits, you have all love for them, and you send them away with grandeur and everything, with a lot of love. For me, love is grandeur, and that's all you need to do. And you not have to worry about their karma or anybody else's karma for that matter. It's not your business. People come and tell me, that person is supposed to be emancipated and she behaves like this, and I don't even know. Don't bother. It's my business, not yours. No. Because why? Because you're seeing with your own perspective. You're seeing that person with your own colored glasses, whereas Ma doesn't do that. I only see the soul and its purity, which is always present with radiance. So if some beings are very close to you and they have exited, you have a lot of grief because of the attachment you have towards them. But you have to also observe that grief, cry a little bit, grieve, because you have to pay attention to that. And then it's gone, it's finished. You grieve for a little bit. When somebody passes away in India, we have the 11th day ceremony or the 10th day. So the 10 days you're allowed to grieve, and we make these offerings, whatever that person loved a lot. We offer it and do a puja every day. And then the last day, 11th day, we do a big puja. That means, we are sending all of the support for that soul for, greener pastures, and for that, we always pray that may the Lord hold your hand and go to Vaikuntha, means heaven, heavenly abode. But here we're not talking about even heavenly abode. We're talking about pure emancipation, which is beyond the heavens. Because even in the heavens, people are fighting. Indra, the heavenly god, also has fights. Demons. So why we want to exit earth, which is, what they call in Sanskrit, earth is like the realm of death. Earth is the realm of death, but at the same time, Krishna says, Rukmani, death also is very beautiful, he says. Death also is very beautiful. If you you see this. Because why emancipation is because death of the ego has already happened. And when your real death comes, you'll say, I'm already dead. So now death is going to be under things, so I'm going to be afraid. No, it's so beautiful, filled with love. Please give it to Adriana.
My question is, you already know what happened.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The way they died,
Mm-hmm.
is it karma also?
Yes, absolutely. So, see, it's their karma the way they died, and you cannot be attached to their karma. So what happens is the karma for each person is a whirlpool, and you become attached to it. You're sticking your finger in there and feeling sad. You're sucked right into their karma, which is a cumulative karma. You see? So you don't want to be sucked into it, because if you allow yourself to do that, you will have this grief for a long, extended period of time. But when you have the divine knowledge and you see it as, okay, this has happened, it's horrible, but I have to let it go. Because even Krishna says everything in the realm of the, Jagat, which is happening, is some things are horrible. And there's nothing even God can do, because we have foolishly created the karma. And then you come innocently born in this thing, and you chopped off somebody's head, or and then you come to this life with this innocent, beautiful woman, and you say, oh, my karmas, I don't know, God, why me? Because you don't remember what you've created. So, Rukmani was Lakshmi and Vishnu, So as the avatar of Krishna, he comes. I want to read something very beautiful. So Rukmani is also Krishna's childhood friend. His name is Sudama. And he's done a lot of naughty things when Krishna and him were going around for bhiksha, which is alms, So he does a lot of naughty things, and the mother gives him some nuts to eat on the way. Like actually it's chana, roasted chana. And then he goes and there's a thunderstorm. So they climb a tree or whatever. And the thunderstorm, Krishna hears, like he's just chewing that crunchy things. And Krishna says, oh, this guy is eating. He says, oh, Sudama, can I have my share? He says, oh, what share? He says, oh, those nuts that Ma gave, like the one in the ashram, everybody calls Amma. So Amma gave us that. He says, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I think it just fell off in the water or something. He did naughty things like that. So when he grows up, he becomes a great sage. And then because, the thing of being with Krishna and all that, he becomes a great sage. But then he's going through total poverty. He gets married, he has 4 children, and then they have no food to eat, nothing. He's going, and then he's got this rule. The Brahmins have a rule. They can only do bhiksha. Bhiksha means, asking for alms for only 5 homes. So if 3 homes shut their door and say, hey, go, we don't respect people who beg or something, then he says, thank you, Ma. And then he goes to the next thing. So he gets only 2 people giving him food that day, or 3 people, whatever. He brings like little bit of rice. There's nothing there. So Rukmini, who comes to help and be with Krishna in that lifetime as an avatar, she's Lakshmi herself. She says, God, how can you be so, don't you have a heart? This is your childhood friend. He's suffering and you cannot even give him like a morsel of food. And she looks at her and she says, I'm sorry. Sorry, he has to go through what he has to go through. He says, you're so, you're Lakshmi, right? So why can't you show your, preface? I mean, you can show your blessings. You can do and see what happens. So she says, oh, sure. And she does this. And so the lady, the thing opens the door and she says, I made rice pudding today. And, because Lakshmi is thing, right? Grace. So she brings a big, in a leaf. It's like, those days, when they're giving to beggars, they're like a leaf. It's all sewed up leaf. And she gives a big pot of the leaf thing full of rice pudding. So he says, thank you so much. And then Lakshmi looks at Krishna and says, see, I did it, So he comes very holding it on in his chest and he brings it, he's coming. And then there's a horseman coming at full speed and all the villagers are running helter-skelter. It's a very poor village. And the horseman comes and just gives him one thing, right? First of all, he's not eaten for so many days. So he's like really struggling to even walk. But he wants to take this rice pudding to his children and to his wife. So he keeps it. And, the guy hits him and he falls on the floor. The rice pudding on the mud. This is karma. And the dog comes and licks it. The dog comes and eats. That is karma. So can we question? So then, Lakshmi is like stunned. And then, Krishna says, you see what I'm talking about? They have to go through the karma. But when the karmas are over, I'm with him right now. When his karmas are over also, I'm with him. And then there's a long story. We'll continue later. I want to read this because, and how much of glory, And it remind me, I'll tell you this beautiful story about Sudama's wife, how sage-like she is, But anyway, to end the thing, it's just amazing how this came in exactly 2 seconds. You asked about silence, Fill the mind perfectly, even for a few minutes. 1,000 unholy vasanas will die out. Vasanas means impressions. 1,000 unholy vasanas will die out. So many of you who are sitting more than an hour, imagine how much is happening. As waters stream towards the ocean and fires flame towards the sun, all expressions of power should naturally glorify the Creator, God, by pointing to Him. If this is realized in every movement of the soul, in thought, word, deed, life becomes blessed, a play. This is conscious living. In thought, word, and deed. You don't come here just in meditation, you can be a good person. Then your thoughts are all coming and saying, don't be good to this person today because he has created such hell in your life. So the deed also has to match. Thought, word, and deed has to be exactly the same, and that is living in the super consciousness. Know that God's love and grace flow towards one who is sitting in meditation, whether he feels them or not. When one is sitting in meditation, whether you feel it or not, God is always flowing towards us. Because you have taken the time from the worldly materialistic things to simply sit and be, because you want to realize your immensity. And what is that immensity? That is God. So God is happy, The eye must find a mirror to see its own color, and the finger to touch its own tip. Even so, I know you allow me to live life after life, only that I may come face to face with myself, that I may touch you, the self of myself. And that's so beautiful. So is there a duality in that? There's no duality, no? So from duality to Advaita, we come to non-duality, where you and God are one and the same. So you accept whatever the Leela, the drama is happening, whether it's good or bad, it is all in perfection. And because it's happening in perfection, we accept. Acceptance also is a very major part of realization. If you accept, half the battle won. One should try to create islands of pure consciousness amidst a sea of worldly consideration. Very, 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 very important. You have to create your islands of pure consciousness. That's what we talked about the whole satsang. Amidst a sea of worldly considerations. When you're considering the worldly things, you have to be lovingly unattached, non-judgmental. Simply be there for the sake of it. Inner renunciation. Still doing your work in the Jagat, but inner renunciation. Every time feeling, who am I? When the islands are gradually connected one by regular practice of divine remembrance, when the islands are connected one by one, divine practice of divine remembrance, then the freedom and fullness of the egoless state can be felt. It is then that one begins to taste real joy of life. This is what I'm talking about. When you come to that egoless state of consciousness, of being, then only you can really truly begin to enjoy life. Because before that, with the ego mind, you're only complaining about life. You're only saying this person didn't do enough, seeing everything as glass half empty. Now you're seeing everything as half full. If what the Guru speaks, the Mahavakya, is the essence of all scriptures, Mahavakya means the supreme word, is the essence of all scriptures, then what makes the mind capable of grasping the truth is the essence of all sadhana. Sadhana means practice, spiritual practice. You must understand both. Behind the Master's word is not thought, but realization. Behind the Master's word is not thought, but realization. A still sea of light that bursts forth as soon as the shutters of His grace open at the touch of His will. At the touch of His will. May the soul be illumined. It's as simple as that. May the soul be illumined. A process of spiritual transmission converts this palpable deluge into a steady stream of understanding, pouring into the listening, adoring heart, and finally causes the sea of light to be realized, recondensed there in utter stillness. How beautiful is that? Recondensed there in utter stillness. See, that is the state that I bless. I want all of you to come to that state so that you can begin to enjoy every aspect of creation in its own beauty. At the same time, knowing fully well that the whole entire world is illusory. and not to be attached to it. You enjoy the nature, you enjoy the trees, the flowers, the roses, everything. But the understanding they're illusory, they may be here today, they may be there tomorrow, they may be gone. You know how in spring all these beautiful flowers, they're so short-lived. 2 weeks and they're gone. So if you get attached to it, will they be sitting here all your life? No. Okay, so we're all getting sleepy. So we'll do the transmission. Just for the newcomers, just follow the guidance. When I say slowly come out at the end of the meditation, I mean slowly come out. So you're getting your body, because your body will be in a very deep state. So you're just becoming aware that you have to come out, but don't move and don't start drinking water and doing tup, because the person next to you will be disturbed. You can wait till I say slowly open your eyes. Just follow what is being said. Take in a deep breath, inhaling light, peace, love. And exhale, releasing and dropping everything that does not serve you. Deep inhalation, inhaling light, peace, love. And exhale, dropping even further. One last deep inhalation, inhaling light, peace, love. And exhale, sit comfortably. I want you to just be, not be this or that. Relaxing totally, taking a little mini vacation for 1 hour. Letting go and dropping the entire world. And going to the core of your being. Staying in the right side of your chest, which is the Hridaya Kamalam, the lotus of your heart, sitting in a beautiful white lotus in a waveless ocean of bliss. It is just a visualization, dropping everything. Slowly come out. Don't yet open your eyes. Take in a gentle breath, inhaling light, peace, love. And exhale, dropping everything that was released. Gentle inhalation, inhale deeply, inhaling light, peace, love. And exhale, dropping even further, staying at the core of your being. Even though we're going to come out. One last time, deep inhalation, inhaling light, peace, love. And exhale. Slowly open your eyes when you're ready. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being patient. Sorry about all the commotion next door. So, how many people were judging? Yes, Matthew?
Well, I was coughing.
Oh, that's okay.
Coughing. I noticed myself choking on my judgment. And it was really, well, it was cool because all of a sudden I was kind of like.
Take the microphone. Start from
What was
first.
beautiful about it is it became an opportunity for me. I'm like, if I'm choking on this, I need to take some action. So I gently stood up and I went out, went into the room and suggested that awareness could be the catalyst for, and I was just doing this with them silently, quietly. There was about 8 men, and they're just planning something, obviously. But I suggested to them that awareness could be the catalyst for silence being the screen of consciousness. And they just went silent, and they all just left. And so, no, I went over there and did it. Oh. I wish I could do that.
So, there was one person.
I had to take action, sorry.
You don't have to feel sorry because there was one person who listened to my message. I was saying, and somebody going to tell them to just, because what happens is, like, they also have to recognize that we have put there outside meditation in progress. Now, that's a Indian, Arangetram means the first time the Indian classical dancer who's coming on the stage first time. So, Arangetram means that first time she's coming on the stage when she's been trained by the teacher. And we went that through with our daughter, and it's a big thing. It's almost like a wedding, you know. So I think we're all excited and talking, and I was saying, thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it. Don't feel sorry. Self wanted you to do it. I said, there's one person, hopefully. Then it became very silent. I was thinking, okay, thank you, Lord, you know. So next time, don't hesitate, because, you know, we have to also, you know, that's hissing a little. Not being, like when we're talking about all of this, letting go and being humble, I don't want you guys to be a doormat, you know. We also have rented this place. We also have our own silence. So you have to say, excuse me, you know, I know you rented the next thing, but right now we are in meditation. But it was very well said, and they understood, because they're also, you know, huge into meditation, because they're from India. Yes, you want to give her the...
Well, I just thought that it was very interesting, because I was wondering, how do we when I get angry, how do I let go? And when I heard all that noise, I thought, oh, here's my opportunity to just let it go. And how do you do that? And I actually had a really deep meditation, even while it was happening.
Yes, very good.
So
Beautiful. See, you have to remember every opportunity which you're seeing it as a challenge or an obstacle, it's an opportunity for a brick of foundation in your path. That's what my Swamiji says, brick of foundation in your path. So every opportunity, you, like Michael was asking, you just, you know, without labeling it, you say, you know, I can go deeper, I can let this go. That is their jagat, you know, it's happening. Because there's one, Buddhist master who said, you know, there's a little ashram, and these students came to the Buddhist master to learn meditation, and one day, you know, taught them what it is. And he says, oh, the second day, so this student came as a new student. Second day, he says, evening, we're going to go to the busiest part of the market, sit there for 2 hours. But he says, no buts. They're selling fish, they're selling this, they're transacting, you know. He says, you have to go in the middle of the market. I mean, like, why can't I sit in the ashram? He says, no, go to the market. So we had the market today, going blah, blah, blah. You know? So that was very wonderful. Yes, please give yeah.
So, Ma, I noticed the very moment I heard the gentleman's voice, I knew he was Indian.
Yes.
And I was judging him so harshly.
Yeah.
And
yes,
because my ego took me over, and I was like, oh, there you go.
There goes the Tamilian, right?
Typical Indians, they can't respect space, they can't respect silence, they can't respect rules. There you go, the typical boisterous, loud bunch. And I was like, who's that judging? It's another Indian. No, I was kidding. No, but then it gave me an opportunity to stay present with it. And in fact, I had a lovely meditation.
Thank you. Good. Now that is conscious living. Like what Shenapurna said also, it's conscious living, because you're at that moment recognizing the immensity and what you can be at that moment, letting go of this little puny self, just trying to judge somebody else. You know, you step up. So God wants us to step up all the time with so much love and compassion and kindness. And the moment you sign up to step up, that is your earnest yearning that I want to be free. It's like a contract with God. Then He picks you up, puts you on His lap, and gives you everything you need. Please give the mic to Herb. It's on.
So I noticed the noise, and I was going through an internal conversation. Can't they read the signs? How stupid can they be? Blah, 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 blah. And then I just stopped that and said, please shut up. And there was instant silence. So It's that simple. I'm having a problem with this being fully conscious in that it's so boring.
That's what the mind says so.
Yeah.
Your mind says it's too boring, Herb, like, what the heck, I'm going to be sitting with this for the rest of my life,
Well, so I then get into, there's enough circumstances in my life
Yeah, I
that
understand.
I can enroll in that, and it's not boring, but it's a pain in the neck. So it's like I'm in a place I've never been before that I can remember. And the most exciting thing in my life is, what are we having for dinner? I mean, really, that's...
I pray that Elizabeth gives you exciting meals at least. No enchiladas. And it's, well, honey, it's potatoes and spinach today. And it goes, even that has gotten boring.
No, I just hang in there with the boredom.
So anyway, it's all fun and laugh besides that. Now, when you say it's boredom, where is it coming from?
Well,
At least where do you think it's coming from?
I think it's coming from the mind.
Okay, you already know that, right? So,
Yeah.
So when you drop the mind, there's an exquisite silence which simply presents itself. In that exquisite silence, how can one be bored? You cannot, because everything that the mind fascinates about, like boredom, I'm not a good person, I have insecurities, all of that simply ceases to be in that space of pure silence. That's why we say silence is the screen of consciousness, ceases to be. And in that ceasing itself, who are you? You are that infinite silence, the supreme reality that is eternal, that is ancient. Then there's a recognition of that in that moment. But if the mind comes back, then you have to say the abhyasa has to be continued in practice and say, why are you coming? Because humbly speaking, every time when one is in that state, there is a dropping of the entire world. When the dropping of the entire world happens, and when palpable self is presenting itself, that we call God or your higher self, there's a beauty in it, so beautiful, intoxicating, that the entire world, which seems to be at one point more intoxicating, drops. And there is no interest in it anymore. When there's no interest in it anymore, you will not see anything what you're doing right now in the realm of the heart to be boring. You see. So then you are free. I can sit on the couch all day long and do absolutely nothing. Been called a lazy bum or whatever. Who cares? At that point, what happens is you care deeply for the entire world, but you don't really care much about other people's acknowledgements and their judgments on you. You're not bothered, because at that point you have experienced something so vast within yourself and so brilliant within yourself that none of the other things matters to you at that time. So always remember that there is the state that I cannot give up, and for even a moment, a fraction of a second, I will never ever give up my peace to react to somebody else's atrocious nonsense. And I'm not saying that I don't get those challenges. Oh yeah, but I choose not to just absolutely react to it at all, because even when I'm reacting to it or I want to react to it, that 2 seconds of my peace is disturbed. So how do you stay in that state of peace at all times? When you see the Jagat or the world is illusory alone, you can do that. You know, that includes persons in your life, people, places, you know, everybody. And the closest to you also will, but the ones will push your buttons. Your siblings, your children, your everything will push your buttons. You know, I'm not going to give you this. Take it. Be my guest. How can you say that? Even if it's $1 million, how can you say that? Because you have that unshakable reality on your side, and you know that that unshakable reality called God existence will provide for you. And you also have to be prepared if it's just a piece of toast. Are you prepared to do it? That is emancipation. That is vairagya. Vairagya means dispassion. Somebody said, like, I have a passion for this. Let go of the passion. Dispassion. You know, like music or your art, or you're an artist and you're doing something. I have a passion for it. I would humbly advise, drop the passion and be in dispassion. So there's no attachment. When you say passion, immediately you're in attachment. And when you're in attachment, it's difficult to let go. You know, there was a difference. One person said, you know, I enjoy music. You know, I guess I'm a little bit fluent about it. Very humbly, he said. The other person said, I have a passion. So which one has to go? The passion has to go. You can love music. I'm not saying I love music. I play music all the time. The mantras, that's my forte. I play. And anytime you listen to music that's high vibrational, which we have a whole bunch on the website, which I've, you know, handpicked. All of them are very high vibration, and everybody may not vibrate with that particular music, but whatever resonates with you, you can listen to it because it takes you to a higher space. Yes, Herb?
I can just say that the boredom is the mind's last attempt to hang on. It's just another conversation. And really, the noise the people were making and my ability to silence them without anger, without anything, just please be quiet. It is that simple. And I'm not used to it.
It is simply allowing. Allowing. See, like somebody was talking in the privates, you're allowing the other person. See, you want everybody to allow you to do what you want to do and how you want to be. But you do not allow the other person. He may be a, you know what, a jerk. It doesn't matter. His role is to be a jerk. So you allow him to be a jerk. You know, why you're going and telling, you know, like you're being a jerk. Be a jerk, so what? You can do that because you're not attached to the process. No, he's being a jerk, so fine. Because you're free only, you can do that. You're not all caught up with this thing of the world, of the Jagat, you know, relationships. You know, one Swamiji told me, you know, he always used to call me Amma, you know, mother. Then he called me Mataji. And I was quite young, actually. He said a relationship-less relationship. You know, you're having a relationship-less relationship where you're not attached to that body or the partner or the wife or the husband, but you're unconditionally loving. Whatever they are, you accept. So then you have allowing, you're allowing. Even youngsters who want to get married, you have to allow everybody to be themselves, no? Thank you so much for coming and asking all those beautiful questions. Appreciate it. Jai Shankar. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May you all be filled with peace, peace and peace. May all the grace of the Lord be with you. In all the times that you sit alone in meditation, may you be supported with unconditional love, sustenance, and immense grace. Thank you so much for coming. Namaste. Jai Shankar, Jai Shankar.